The answer to your question is hell nah. Hell nah, you can't beat the child support system. Ain't no way in the world you can beat the child support system. As a man, that is. Don't even think about it, man. For starters, don't even get in the system. If you can help it. Don't even get in the system. How y'all doing, YouTube? Welcome back. This might turn into another story time. But I had to show y'all that it's also time for you to get some exercise in your life. Never a bad time for that. Get out there. Do something small if you haven't done something in a while. Do something big if that's what you normally do. But keep it up is what I'm trying to say. But the answer, once again, is a big fat hell nah. You can't beat the child support system. Trust me, I've been there, done that. Been there, done that. You know what I mean? Listen, I've been married before. And once you're part of that system, it's extremely hard to get out of that system. There was a time when I was married previously, like I told you, and as much as I wanted things to work out, in the end, they did not work out. Sometimes that happens. And fortunately, her and I had a child together. A beautiful daughter, my first daughter. She turned out remarkable, despite me not being there. See, my situation pertained to a marriage that didn't work. However, I was still doing things to support my daughter before ever being put in the system. Because I felt strongly about that. Being a father in my child's life. The problem I had with that was, upon our breakup, we went separate ways because we met in the military. It's kind of ironic that I'm at the Veterans Memorial Building. But her and I met in the military. When things didn't work out, we went our separate ways after our enlistment was over. She moved back to the state of Texas, where she was from. I moved back to Cali. That's a huge gap in distance. There's no weekend visitations in that scenario. So, I made every attempt to be the best father I could be at that time, given the scenario. And by being the best I could be at the time, meaning whatever she needed, I picked up. Whatever she wanted, I purchased. A lot of the transactions was through her mother. For example, I was told that she wanted a trampoline. Went and brought her a trampoline. Or gave her money to purchase a trampoline, a huge one. My daughter needed tablet or laptop, whatever that was back then at that time. Sent her the money for that. Whatever my daughter needed, or whatever that I was told she needed, it was never a problem. Never a problem. Then, after some negotiating between her and I, we tried to make it work again. And she came to, she moved back out here, her and my daughter back out here to California. At that point is when we actually got married. Within the church, etc. So the first time was pretty much a breakup, because we were not married at that time. But again, after the second attempt, second go around, she came back to the town and we tried to make things work. The marriage was short-lived, unfortunately. So, once again, she went her way back to Texas. I stayed put where I was at here in California. And I was in a scenario again of trying to do what I could do for my daughter at that time, given the circumstances. But what I was told was, from my daughter's mother, was that she would never file child support against me. What a surprise, what a surprise. Because like I said, I communicated with my daughter during that time. I did for her. And a few years went by, and next thing you know, I received a letter from the Child Support Department of Texas in the mail. Gentlemen, that's a letter you never want to receive. And basically, she requested child support from me. Keep in mind, I wasn't working a 9-to-5. I had my own business at the time. This is when I was car hauling for myself. My business was in the red the whole time I owned the business. So it was hard to make ends meet. And it was also going to be hard to pay child support. Other than in a different manner than the way I was supporting her previously. Being state mandated, in other words. So, the amount for one child in the state of Texas was $333. Doesn't sound like much. But it was hard to come by. I wasn't a W-2 employee. I had my own business, remember? It was tough. But for a few years, I'm gonna make the story quick and short, sweet to the point. A few years, I made these payments as best I could. There's a few times here and there that couldn't make those payments. But I would make up for it the following month or the following 2 months. Whatever the case was. It was a long time ago. But I didn't avoid the situation. I didn't run from the situation. I never ducked and dodged her, my daughter, or the system, for that matter. But I explained to her mother that things were rough for me, given that scenario, running the business, etc. She didn't quite understand. Not sure if she even cared. But it really didn't matter because I was part of the system at that time. Once you're in the system, gentlemen, the system don't care about you. They don't care about what scenario you got going on. They don't care about what relationship you got going on. They don't care about what new family you may happen to have at that time. They want the money. And you got to supply this money. You got to supply this money month after month after month after month. Till your child is 18 years old. In some cases, 21 years old if they head into college. So struggling as I was making these payments of $333 a month. Two or 3 years went by. I could no longer hold on to the business. So I started working for an assembly plant, Toyota assembly plant in Fremont, California. At that time, I was making better money, much better money than working for myself. Behold, another letter coming from the state of Texas in my name. Hey, Mr. Peanut, we're gonna need an increase in those child support payments from you starting immediately. Well, guess what, gentlemen? That amount of $333 per month jumped up to $1,000 per month. $1,000 per month for one child. See, it doesn't matter where you go. When the mother of your child files, they find you. And whatever state you happen to live in, the child support department in your state will pick up the pieces. And they'll make sure that you make these payments on behalf of the state of Texas or whatever state the mother of your child lives in. But remember, I was told that I would never have child support filed against me. I wasn't a deadbeat dad. Definitely was not a deadbeat dad. I guarantee you that. But I tried my best from 1,500 miles away. Once you're part of that system, and whatever payment they decide to come up with, you're obligated. And it's going to be a long 18 to 22 years. That's if you're making payments on time. Start falling behind on them payments. See what happens. See what happens then. You like your driver's license? You got a job that requires you to have a driver's license? Miss a payment and see what happens. Guess what department steps in at that point? The Department of Motor Vehicles. You like to have cars in your life? It's not possible if you don't have a license. Department of Motor Vehicles for your state will come and find you. When you go to renew those vehicles, guess what? That's not possible because you are behind on child support payments, sir. So, you are obligated to make these payments. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You got all these agencies that are going to make sure you make these payments. That lasted a very long time, gentlemen. A very long time. Because my daughter, she went off to college. And I have nothing bad to say about that. Not only did she graduate college, she went to further schooling after college and graduated once again. She beat the odds. So don't let nobody tell you that your child can't make it if you can't be in their lives. It's their choice if they want to make it in whatever it is that they want to do. They can't run that excuse, oh, my dad wasn't in my life. Oh, my mom wasn't in my life. No, they have life's choices just like anyone else. But the point I'm making to you gentlemen, especially you young gentlemen, be careful of relationships that you get yourself involved with. Be absolutely certain that you're ready to have a child. Don't be promiscuous out there, sleeping around with any and all women. Because when you least expect it, you might be bringing home a child. When you least expect it, you might be bringing home a disease. And both of those are going to follow you for the rest of your life. I don't think you want those type of problems. I have no remorse, no regret against the mother of my child, my first daughter. None whatsoever. I lived up to my obligation. It was hard. Trust me, it was hard. If you look back to a previous video I made, you understand now why I had to live in a van for 7 years. That was my choice. But that was the root of the reasoning for that choice. Because life was kind of tough at that time. There was no way in the world I could pay rent of $1,000, pay child support of $1,000, both, each month, and survive, and live, and have anything in comfort. So if you find yourself in that situation, where you have a child now, that's a situation you need to man up for. Don't try to duck and hide and run away from that responsibility of yours. Because you can't hide from the system. You might be able to duck them for a little while, but it's going to always catch up with you. One day you're going to go to DMV. You're going to try to register something. A red flag going to pop up. One day you might be driving for a particular employer. Human resources representative pulls you in. Unfortunately, sir, we're going to have to part ways because your license has been revoked and or suspended due to past child support payments not being paid. And in regards to the court system, like I told you, they don't care about you. They don't care about your scenario. When those papers were filed against me the first go around, I had receipts. I had receipts for trampoline. I had receipts for computers. I had receipts for books or whatever it is that I had purchased at that time that she needed. I had receipts for all that stuff. Because a friend of mine at that time told me, keep your receipts. It'll come in handy. It'll show that you're trying. That's the key. You got to show that you're trying. But you know what happened in my scenario? The judge looked at those receipts. He saw them. But he gave the option of my daughter's mother to honor those receipts or not. How is that fair? I have no idea. The choice to honor those receipts for the value of that money that it totaled up to was given to my daughter's mother. What I'm getting at is I could have been credited X amount of money towards the child support that I owed. A few $1,000s, wasn't much. But I could have been credited that amount. She did not honor it. So basically those receipts was garbage at that point. Something as small as giving me credit for a little bit of money that I have been providing was disregarded. See, the system is in their favor, fellas. You're gonna learn that the hard way if you're being promiscuous out there in the streets. If you think that I strapped up, I'm good, nothing gonna happen to me. Some women are shady, you gotta remember that too. They'll slip your protection right off you before you even know it, just to have a child by you. Because for some women, children equals a paycheck. Not all women, and not in my case either. But some women see a man as a paycheck through having a child with him, willingly or unwillingly. So not only did the little things that I do for my daughter, being in a totally different state, I've done several major things, such as purchasing a home in the state of Texas, because I knew I couldn't afford one in California. Purchased a home sight unseen, online only, brand new home. Why? Because I knew I can eventually pay that thing off. The goal was to do that and to give it to my daughter when she became of age. But again, being a go-getter, I had that home in Texas. I also had a home, primary residence, here in California. This was in around the 2007, 2008 timeframe when the economy went south. Had a hard time holding on to both homes. Lost one at a time. I had needed and asked for a little bit of help paying for the one in Texas so I could hold on to it for my daughter. And you can imagine who I asked a little bit of help from and didn't receive it. I wanted that to be the ultimate goal or the ultimate accomplishment to deliver to my daughter as a father that wasn't really in her life and couldn't be in her life as much as I had wanted to be. But enough about me. Gentlemen, don't get in that system. It'll be a very long time before you see daylight once again, once you're in that system. And guess what? When you're in that system, your new girl won't be too happy about hearing anything about that. She won't be too happy to hear that most of your money that you make has to go to another family, has to go to another child. Don't put yourself in that boat. Don't spread yourself thin. Don't have families over here, and families over there, and kids over here, and 3 more over there. That's not the thing to do. That's not what's in. Sometimes it just happens, not by design, but sometimes it just happens. That's the cards you were handed. And if it just happens to be your situation, man up. Man up. Again, don't run from it. Do not run from that. You man up. You take care of your kids. Anyway, I didn't want to be too dramatic on this particular recording, but I think somebody needed to hear this. Because life is hard as it is already by yourself. But when all your earned income is coming out and being sent elsewhere, if you think it's tough now, imagine trying to live on a third of your paycheck or less. That's how I became homeless for a short period of time, 7 years. I don't think you want that. Made me stronger as a man, but I don't think you want that. So use your heart. Think with your heart. Don't think with another part of your body. That'll get you in trouble every single time. Anybody can do that. A boy can do that. Be a man. Be careful who you land with. That's all I got for you today. We don't keep it real. We keep it all the way peanut around here. Remember that. Peace out.